JF Stretford Paddock. This is Transfers Live. Joining me, as always, is my good friend.
Well, it's not as always, is it?
No, actually.
Because you've replaced me.
No, I haven't replaced you.
Well, you have.
You've just been larking about, messing about.
Is that what you want to call it?
Do you know what I mean? Where's Joe? Can't wait to do a live show tonight with Joe. Can't bother, Jay. I'm watching the Euros.
Yeah, can't
like
bother.
a loser.
I'm watching a candle melt.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm doing missionary work in Guam. I was doing charity work for the
Well, yeah, how did you get on?
church. Very well.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's what we like. Need a bit more of that on this channel. A bit of charity. Not from me, obviously, but from you. You keep doing that good stuff you're doing.
But I'm back now.
Good to see you back as well in your usual attire. I like the fact that you are dressed in your black stuff and your double denim, is it?
It's a double denim,
Yes.
yeah.
I saw some people commenting on the Twitter.
Did you?
Twittered them about that. Yeah, looking very good. Back to it then. The usual suspects. We're going to be talking about... Here we go. Declan Rice.
Yeah. Right, you know what you're going to do? You're going to race through these, okay?
Yeah, all right.
So this is
Do you want me
Jay's...
to do it as quickly as I can?
But you have to enunciate. None of this, I can say it really fast, but I'm slurring.
Yeah.
This is Jay's best T's and C's apply voice for what we're going to be talking about tonight, because it's quite the list.
Yeah, okay.
You got my third beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Talk about Declan Rice, who wants United. Raphael Varane, who's snubbed a contract to Real Madrid. Jadon Sancho, who's apparently available, but we're going to have to up our bid from 77 million quid to another 10 million. Talk about Anthony Martial, has been linked with Real Madrid. Donny van der Beek has been linked bizarrely with Arsenal. David De Gea, who's been in the dark about his future. Juan Mata could be on for a one-year deal. Joel Glazer has been talking to the press, talking a load of rubbish. And Diogo Dalot has been called up to the Portuguese squad.
Fantastic. That is very good. All of that coming up. Actually, if you just slow that down, watch this back on 0.75%. We don't need to do it anymore.
He can go back to Guam and help some more
kids.
When
you get the little can of tomato paste?
Yeah.
That was that. Whereas normally we just give them a big jar of passata, don't we?
But if we do that, Joe, then we can't interact with the viewers, because this is interaction. Get involved in the comments, hit that like button, let us know what you think about those stories, any other stories. If you know anything, if you've just seen Jadon Sancho's in Morrison's in Eccles, let me know. Do you know what I mean? Take a picture if you can and send it us, and we'll post it. Yeah? What?
If you've just seen Jadon Sancho's, like you're someone's man who doesn't know his name. Who's this Jadon Sancho's anyway? Right, if you've just seen Jadon Sancho's in Morrison's, take a picky. Right, let's get into it.
Right, thank you. CJ Legend, straight in the super chat. CJ Legend 89. The way Ole keeps going for England international players, he's trying to copy what Nuno did with Wolves when he got Portuguese players.
Interesting.
I think the difference with that one was Nuno had that deal, didn't he, with Pedro Mendes? Wolves had that deal with him, didn't they? George Mendes. Pedro Mendes was the player he's played for Spurs, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, George Mendes. Portuguese super agent. They also have the rich owner at Wolves as well, so he's sort of bankrolling these moves. And they were getting some decent moves and decent players that probably wouldn't have gone to Wolves if it wasn't for that connection. Is Ollie trying to replicate that with England internationals, do you feel?
Not really, because when you think who we've signed, yes, we've signed Maguire, yes, we've signed Juan Mata, not an England international, as we know. Who else have we signed? We signed Tellez, not English. Cavani, not English. Who else have we signed?
Did you say Juan Mata?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting...
Diallo, not English. Pellistri, not English. We've signed 2 English players. One of them isn't even a starter. Bruno Fernandes. We haven't even signed any English players.
But where do these players play?
Yeah.
Domestically.
England.
So there you go.
That's
the international players.
Yeah.
So...
Ipso facto. I know we are linked with a lot of English players.
No,
we're linked with Grealish, we're linked with Rice, we're linked with Sancho, obviously most predominantly.
After yesterday, we're linked with Calvin Phillips now.
Yeah, we're linked with
because he had
Calvin
a good game, didn't he? So obviously we should buy him immediately.
But I don't think that's the case. And also, and it is slightly different because when you're a Portuguese manager working for a team that is basically funded by a Portuguese man, buying Portuguese players for an English club, that's different to being a Norwegian manager owned by Americans, you're buying English players for an English club, which makes a bit more sense because they're presumably playing in a country they've lived in and they know. It's not quite the same as if you're buying loads of English players for one Portuguese team. That would be a bit more surprising. But English players playing for an English team isn't mad, is it?
It isn't, right. Since I did my little run through of the stories, succinctly, swiftly, yeah, I think we can say.
Right.
I'll rattle through them in a coherent but quick fashion.
Yes.
One of them has already been poo-pooed by Fabrizio Romano.
Why?
So I'm going to ask you,
Right.
Which one is it? If you can remember what I said, and I ran through those stories, one of them, he's already said, it ain't happening. And he said it he said it 10 minutes ago, so roughly the same time.
Declan Rice to Man United.
No, I'll give you another go. It's the one.
Van der Beek to Arsenal.
Got it in
It's not
two.
happening.
Not
We
happening.
knew it wasn't happening. We only involved it, included it, so we could say this isn't happening.
Yeah.
It's just one of those transfers that sounds right.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the sort of player they'd buy.
Yeah.
But it isn't actually going to happen. So that's not happening. Remove it. Right, let's get into our first story then.
All right.
We've been lolloping from idea to idea without actually getting to the news.
The news.
The hard finger of news points in your direction, man.
I'm glad you ended that sentence the way you did.
Yes.
Very well said.
Gently probes.
There's nothing wrong with getting gently probed.
Absolutely not.
You should always get yourself
Or
checked
even,
out.
yeah.
Check yourself out, that's what I do. Right, anyway.
You don't.
What?
You don't Google where to touch, do you? You just go, feels all right in there.
Let's give it another.
It smells healthy. Go on.
Who have you been talking to? Right, let's get on to the brass tacks now. I've just got all of a quiver there. Rice, yeah, he wants United.
Does he?
Because, you know, who wouldn't? We're mint.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the football, but we're still a massive club, aren't we?
Yeah, we are still a massive club. I was speaking to Steve about this before on the podcast. If you haven't watched it, check out the Paddock podcast. And earlier, we're talking about the signings that we think can make United win the league. We talked a little bit about Rice on there.
Yes.
I'm a bit worried that he's overrated. And I think that if he wasn't young and he wasn't English, he wouldn't be worth, or he would be worth about half of what he's being touted. Like, we're talking anywhere between 60 and 90 million.
Yeah.
I think really he's probably worth 30, 40 million. Do you know what I mean? The idea of spending 90 million on Declan Rice, whilst he may well be one of those underrated players that goes under the radar, that's too much. And like, I know Michael Carrick gets compared to him occasionally because he's kind of, well, he doesn't tackle that much, he doesn't score many goals, he doesn't make many assists. But Michael Carrick was 16 million, which is obviously with inflation more than it is back then, or more now than it was back then. But it wasn't the equivalent of 90 million. Do you know what I mean? That's like Pogba money. That's, you know, Ronaldo money. Ronaldo went to Juventus for 100 million. And then you're talking 90 million for Declan Rice. An understated player that you have to kind of read between the lines to see what they're doing shouldn't be the same money as the most expensive defender ever, the most expensive midfielder ever, one of the most expensive attackers ever. That's just too much for him. So I understand he may, you know, go under the radar a bit, but if they're talking 90 million, I just don't see where there's value in that for United, do you?
No, I think that's overpriced. It does say as a sort of a caveat that he's expected to spend another season at West Ham.
Right.
But this has come from the Manchester Evening News, so it's up to you how much weight you put in it. We know we have been linked with Declan Rice quite heavily. A lot of people saying, you know, maybe Jesse Lingard couldn't be used as a make weight in that deal because obviously he's just spent a season, at West Ham and done very well. In answer to your question, I do rate Rice. I think he's had a very good sort of 18 months.
Yeah.
When we were first linked with him a couple of years ago, for roughly that same price,
yeah.
I was like, that's ridiculous. There's no way he's worth that. But he has come on a lot. I think he does go about his business quietly. Even like the other night for England, or the other day for England, I thought he had a good game, and it was almost like, sometimes I think, and you might disagree, but if a DM, if you don't notice him, they're almost doing a decent job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I notice Fred all the time when he plays DM, because he's a nightmare, and he's like, he makes like a lot of things happen that I don't want to.
Yeah.
I know he has his good traits as well before anyone jumps on me, but I thought he just went about his business nicely and kept things quite simple and just sort of kept doing like Michael Carrick used to. I'm not saying he's on that level, but Michael Carrick would be a player that you could almost go and notice in games.
Yeah.
But once you took him out, you'd notice him because, you know what I mean, there'd be all sorts of gaps opening up in midfield and you'd miss him massively. So I'm not saying he's like as good as him, but that's similar sort of thing that goes about it. So the question is that worth 80, 90 million? I think you're right, it's not, because we know this is Manchester United and we aren't going to be able to go out and go, Sancho 70, 80 million, Trippier say 20 million, Declan Rice 90 million.
No.
That ain't going to happen.
There's no way we're going to buy Sancho for 77 million or whatever it is that we're looking at, and then spend more money on another player as well. That is not happening. If we buy Sancho, he's the marquee signing.
Well said. He is, 100%. Any other signings that come in will be less than 77 million quid.
Yeah.
Now, we do need a DM. I think that's as essential, probably just about as essential as a right winger.
Yeah.
Fred and McTominay playing there. McTominay obviously played for Scotland today. Didn't have the result they wanted. But he's not a DM, is he?
No.
He's not. And some of the other players we've been linked with, you can argue they're not even DMs. Some of them are like 8s or whatever. But Declan Rice would sit in front of that defence. Is he good enough? Probably, possibly, but certainly not for 90 million quid. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. People are saying finish 0-0 with Sweden and Spain.
Good.
Some other people are saying about Romano tweeting. We've mentioned that the Romano tweet about Van der Beek isn't going to Arsenal. Jamie Ogg says Rice isn't overrated. He's just not worth 100 million.
Yeah.
As soon as United are interested in a player, their value goes up by 40 to 50 million because they know we'll pay stupid money for players.
I think that's just the best way of putting it. He's not overrated. He's very good, but he's just not worth what you'd have to pay for him.
If you got him, even for 50 million, I think you'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. 22 years old.
Fred costs.
Yeah. Like, you know, you can have, if he signs a 5-year deal, you get them 5 years out of him.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, it's worth it. But when you're doubling that or putting 40 on it, it's like Maguire.
Yeah.
No one would moan about Maguire if he cost 50 million quid.
No.
Because I think you've said this yourself. You know, he's been a good player for Manchester United, but the stick that people like to beat him with is most expensive defender in the world ever. He's not that good, which is just meaningless. So yeah, I think that Declan Rice doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. Maybe next season, next summer we go for him, and the price is lowered. A little bit like the Sancho scenario last summer, this summer, where they wanted 110 million quid for him, or 108 million quid, 120 million euros. We weren't paying it, hopefully, or looks like we're going to get him for a little bit less this summer. Maybe that's the scenario. The problem I've got is I don't think we can have another season of McTominay and Fred as our double pivot. No. I don't think that's a title challenge.
Especially if Matic is leaving, because I know that he gets a lot of stick and he's not really the player he was. Well, he's not the player he was at all. But Matic has still got a lot of qualities that no one else in the team's got. So you're losing that for 15, 20 games a season that he gets. We need to replace him just numbers-wise, because it looks as though Matic may well be going. So at some point, you can't just keep letting players leave your midfield and not replacing them.
What about Garner? Do you think he's ready?
I think he needs another year of first-team football. Yeah. Because again, it's only his first proper year of first-team football.
Would you loan him out to Forest again, where he's just had a fantastic sort of 6 months? Or would you want him to go to the Premier League team?
I think, generally speaking, a good loan is better than, as in playing every week, being loved by the fans, getting lots of game time is better than playing for a slightly better team that you don't play every week, you're in a relegation scrap, you're struggling. I don't think that would be as good for him as playing at a slightly lower level, but every single week and knowing exactly what's going on.
I couldn't agree more. Also, what happens if you are at, say, you go to a team that, let's say he goes to somewhere like Norwich, yeah, good shout, speaking of Norwich, and they're fighting against relegation, and the fans are upset, and you start pointing fingers, and you look at, maybe you go, the kid from United who's here just for a season, he's not what we need, or fans get on his back, or the manager maybe drops in, and it's like...
You're more likely to get your manager sacked, and therefore a new manager could come in and just not.
Well, he's
like
had a bad experience with Watford, didn't it? Was it Watford where he went, and then they changed manager, didn't they? And he got moved on, and that wasn't a happy experience for him. Loved at Forest, sorry. They all call him, the sort of the new Sergio Busquets. So yeah, I'm with you. Another season for Ghana before we get him into the first team or around the first team, but we need something in the meantime. We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep you posted. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. A lot of people sort of commenting and mentioning about. A lot of people seem to agree with you when it comes to Declan Rice in terms of the price, and sort of saying that that's not the answer. Kikison says Ghana will be looked at in pre-season. Apparently, yeah, there was reports that that Ollie was sort of going to see what it's about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just be mindful of pre-season, man.
I know.
Do you mind?
Andres Pereira was brilliant in pre-season.
Well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember him, I think it was against the Scousers, where he looked like he was, the reincarnation of Roy Keane. I was like, get in, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And Jordi Cruyff used to be mid in pre-season. Gabriel Obertan had a mid pre-season.
Yeah, he did.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, can't wait to see this kid in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, I'm not saying Jimmy Garner's going to be like those players, but you've just got to be a little bit careful because pre-season doesn't tell you the whole story. Manu Tonio says we need 3 players, a first team standard. Either or doesn't wash. 2 wouldn't be good enough to challenge. I agree. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Quickly, sorry, before we move on, we've got a super chat. Daniel Mason says, Joe is back, forget Sancho.
Yeah, even better. You don't need Sancho, you got me.
Quality.
90 million quid down the drain there, wasn't it? That you had to pay to get me out of jail.
You're left-footed, aren't you?
I was in a Venezuelan jail, wasn't I?
Aren't you left-footed?
I'm a left-footed mad magician.
We don't need another right winger who's going to cut in on his left foot. What are you? A left-footed what?
Magician. Left someone.
How have you know?
I've had some drinks.
Magician, darling. Yes, you are a left-footed magician. But we don't need someone who cuts in on the right, on his left foot, like Mason Greenwood or Joe's magician. We need someone who's going to vary it a bit.
I used to do magic tricks, you know.
What, during the game?
No, at school. I always was into like sleight of hand and magic.
Go on then.
Only like very basic stuff.
Right.
But I used to do it to get girls.
What number am I thinking of?
15.
Fucking hell, you good.
That's not bad, is it? But I used to do it to get girls and...
Go on, what sort of magic tricks did you do?
Just like pick a card, pick one.
Right, pick one in my head.
Put it back.
Right, put it back.
Looked at it.
Yeah.
Is that your card?
No.
Ta-da!
How did you get it over there?
Yeah, and it got me loads of girls as well.
Yeah, did it?
No.
Did they actually avoid you?
They didn't avoid me necessarily as much as they stayed away from me as much as they could.
Right,
Is that the same
okay.
thing? Is that what avoid means?
It's dissimilar.
Never knew what avoid means.
Didn't you have phones and all that? Because you're younger, aren't you, at school?
Yeah, we had phones, but I had one of them phones with like a green and black screen.
Is it?
Yeah, and other people had a Samsung D500.
You're so
and like
lucky.
a twat.
When I was at school, we had to draw
Yeah.
pictures of
Yeah.
our genitalia.
Did you?
And deliver them by hand.
Did you have like
horrible.
a scale on the bottom of
Yeah.
the map? This is to a 1.8 scale. So yes, it is slightly bigger, but
Have a look at that.
that's the only way I could get the detail because my pencil wasn't very sharp.
Did you?
So I had to do it bigger. How dare you be upset? I wanted to get that hair.
What I said, pack it in, get on the thick table. Right, anyway, we digress. Raphael Varane. As you take your drink now, just pause for effect.
Well, I thought you were going to read the story out.
No, I was riffing
Raphael
with you.
Varane, discuss.
Yes.
Tall, French,
yes.
quick, experienced, won it all. Maybe fighting for a new contract at Real Madrid.
No! Ah! He snubbed it, Joe.
Snubbed.
He snubbed.
One of the great transfer words. What's your favourite transfer word? I've got 3 options for you.
Go on.
Snubbed.
Yeah.
Kitty. War chest.
War chest. I was so
your favourite war
glad
chest?
you
Is that
War
your favourite?
chest. I love it because it's so meaningless.
Yeah.
You go, the manager's been handed
Yeah.
a
What do you
£150
mean
million
war chest? Who
war
is he?
chest.
Gaddafi? What do you mean war chest?
We don't
you
win
don't
the
just
league.
get a war
We're
chest.
storming the Etihad.
Yeah, what do you mean war? Like he's fucking silver tongue or whatever, some pirate. War chest. Arr, your booty be full this year. Like, there ain't no war chest. It's just a
He's
number
been
on a
given
screen.
some transfer funds, possibly. Yeah, war chest is
Let us
my
know in the
favourite.
comments what your favourite sort of transfer buzzword is.
Yeah, come
Snubbed
on.
is great. A whopping, that's a good one. The thick
Whopping.
end of 50 grand a week.
Yeah, it's so good
nice.
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it must be a bit of a buzz writing somebody's.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know your favourite transfer sort of journalism word. War chest is a good
JR
one.
says, not very good at improv, Jay. Lesson 1, never say no. Sorry, I let
Well,
you
what
down
did
on
I say?
the card trick.
And you said no.
No, I said...
When I said, is this your card? And you said no. No wonder I didn't get any girlfriends. No wonder I didn't kiss someone until I was 70.
yeah, right, okay.
And even that was the milkman.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it till after. Anyway, next, Varane.
Varane, yes. Sorry, there was more to this story.
Yes,
Not
of
only has he
course.
snubbed a contract, he's hoping, Madrid now hoping to get 60 million euros, 51.5 million pounds sterling, obviously. Transfer fee for the centre-back. He's been linked with Paris Saint-Germain,
PSG.
as they say, yes.
Well, they're also linked with... Well, they've just signed Wijnaldum, haven't they? They stole him from Barcelona at the 11th hour, as they say.
Yeah.
Um,
Scouser's going to miss him, by the way.
They will, because he's very good.
Yeah.
They're also looking at Ronaldo, apparently. I've got hair there. There it is. And now they're looking at Varane. They can't sign everyone, surely.
The
What do you
Ronaldo
think?
one
Go
makes
on.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because he doesn't go backwards, does he, Ronaldo?
No.
He likes, Portugal, England, Spain, Italy. Top scorers all over the gaff, apart
Yeah.
from Portugal, probably. And then, because we bought him when he was
Good
12.
guess.
Do you know what I mean? Doubt very much. I don't think he was the top scorer in the Portuguese, but he was, he's had some success, hasn't he, shall we say?
Just a little touch.
Yeah.
Just the greatest player
His
of all
next
time.
sort of, I don't know, challenge maybe to go to the French league. They've not won the French league as well,
Yeah.
so he could go there, winning the French league, which for a player of his calibre, alongside the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, isn't the most difficult task.
No, especially if they do get Varane, because
Yeah.
that, again, it doesn't seem, unfeasible. If that's a word.
Yeah, and also for them, even though they've not won the French league and they want to win that back, they've got to want to do bits in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because it's like, oh, well and good, I'm spending billions of pounds and winning the French league like 8 out of 9 seasons
Yeah.
or whatever it's been. But, they've got to one Champions League final.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
And Ronaldo obviously wants that as well.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I think he's won the most Champions Leagues of anyone. He's won 5. If he goes there, he could feasibly win number 6 there. Whereas at the moment, it seems almost impossible that he would win that with Juventus. Whereas PSG, they're probably a Cristiano Ronaldo away from winning that kind of City tie, winning the final last season. They could do that, I think, with that sort of player in the team.
Unbelievable front three now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just like...
Mbappe, Neymar, Ronaldo. I almost didn't want to say it because I thought I've said too many big things.
Yeah.
But it is that.
You usually have like a little weak link, don't you? You have like a step down.
Maria.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
he's
like,
good, but he's not.
But like, no, it's just 3 of the best players
3
ever.
of the top 10 players in the world,
Yeah.
please. So Varane then, in terms of coming to United, I do still think it's possible. I do think it's possible. If he's going to leave Real Madrid, I think it's almost as likely as he comes to us as him going anywhere. Because we are a better prospect than we have been. We do offer a lot of money. I know PSG offer crazy wages, but we do offer sort of relatively equal wages to them for the sort of non-superstars. We're not going to give anyone 800 grand a week or whatever it is Neymar's on. But for the notch down, we would probably give him 250, 300. So I don't think it's impossible, but it's just sort of a wait and see because I'm still half expecting him to sign that deal with Real Madrid.
Anish Josh here, welcome to the Academy. Thanks for your support,
Cheers,
my
mate.
friend. I think if we are going to make 3 signings and one of them's Trippier, one of them's Sancho, the other one needs to be a DM. I actually think we can get away with Maguire and another centre-back if we get a really good DM. But that's just my thinking. I'd love us to get a centre-back and a midfielder, but I don't know if we will. Lots of people getting involved in your quiz, or not your quiz, sorry, your sort of poll or whatever you want to call it, asking for the best transfer sayings. Alex Hall, United have made an offer. Okay. Kian Donovan, Enquire.
Enquire's a good one.
Basically means nothing has happened and the whole story is made up.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Scottish Taco 03 says acquisition.
Acquisition's good. Very nice.
Vidar Odinson says bumper deal.
Bumper deal is a very good one. That's the best one we've had so far.
Do you like that?
Yeah, let us know, in case you missed it the first time. What are those like silly journalist transfer words like transfer kitty, bumper deal, what was the other one we said? War chest.
War chest, my
200 million war chest. Yeah. Those things that no one says in real life, but they just get used for transfers in football newspapers, basically. So
keeping tabs is a good one. Gavin Higgins there is a good.
Well.
These are all just meaningless.
Yeah.
I love this one. This one is brilliant. Tushar Mehta, forgive me if I butcher your name, says flattered by interest.
Yes.
That's so good because it's almost unprovable.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, he's flattered by interest. He's open to the idea of moving to United. Well. Because it's like, you'll never find out if he is or not if he doesn't come.
No.
And no one ever go, well, do you remember that time you wrote that story saying he was open to the idea? Well, he didn't come, did he?
No.
So he was open to the idea. So he was going to. Just open to the idea.
Well.
It's completely meaningless. And that is it's genius.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Next story, Jay.
The next story, my good friend, is... Should we get to it? Hey, the man of 1,000 thumbnails.
Jadon Sancho.
Yes, Jadon Sancho.
Good lad, isn't he? He's a good lad.
He's a good lad.
Although we can't get a fucking game for England, which is a weird thing, isn't it? Can't even get in the 23-man squad. Bukayo Saka on the bench ahead of Jadon Sancho. What's that?
I think people probably look too much into that because he wasn't on the bench, but then you've also got...
But neither were you.
Yeah, neither was I, and no one's talking about that. Maybe they should be. But like Marcus Rashford's on the bench.
Yeah.
He's an attacking option. Calvert-Lewin's on the bench. He's an attacking option. Saka's on the bench. Attacking option. Grealish. It's not like there wasn't options. I think you have to have the 3 goalkeepers anyway, don't you?
Do you?
I think so. I think it's either you have to have 3 goalkeepers or Southgate or someone said 3 goalkeepers is like a...
No matter
what they're going to do.
Because you're an injury and a red card away from
playing. Because remember when teams have done that and they try to be smart and sometimes it's backfired. So you've got that. Maguire, and I think it was it Maguire and Sancho, were they the only ones that missed out?
No, I think it was a 26-man squad and there was 23 men, so there must be another one.
3. Get involved in the comments, let me know the other one was.
Chilwell,
thank you. Producer Cammy should know. Yes, Ben Chilwell. So it's not like, oh, that's it, Sancho's not going to play for England in this tournament. He couldn't even start against Scotland, for all you know.
It's just Saka's the one that makes me think, how is he ahead of Sancho in the pecking order? In terms of his numbers, in terms of his quality, he's just not the same
Is
player.
he though, or is he just for this game?
Yeah.
Right, son, you're in the squad for this one. Because if I do need an option, I'm going to bring on Grealish, I'm going to bring on Marcus, I'm going to bring on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm not going to bring on Saka. But you're in the squad, you know what I mean? First game, you're involved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He might be rotating.
Yeah, I just, like, we'll know, won't we? Like, after the Scotland game. Anything after that's when he's going for his big guns, or he's going for the ones he relies on. You know, if you're not making that 23-man squad after that, you're probably in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So...
What's the story?
What's the story? Is United are closing in. I mean, we've had this story, or a variation of it, for about 2 days now, because this broke over the weekend. I think Steve had it on Saturday, that United are closing in on a £77 million Sancho deal.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho's camp expect the players to join United, even though their opening offer was rejected by Borussia Dortmund last week. Now, the exciting thing for me here is, and as far as I can tell, it's our first official bid.
Yeah.
Because last summer, for all the bluster, all the speculation, all the rumours, all the reports, all the is open to the idea and, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a war chest or whatever, we didn't actually make an offer for the guy.
No.
There was no an official bid of this has come in and Dortmund have rejected it. This has happened now. It's happened quite early in the window as well.
Yeah.
Practically the first week of the window. I think it was the first week of the window. So there's a lot of time left to go. I just can't see United not making this happen when the numbers aren't that far away. No. I think we've offered 77 million. We're around 11 million plus another 4.5 million, I think, in add-ons away from what Dortmund want.
Yeah.
Another issue here, though, from, again, these are various reports.
We offered 60 something, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they want closer to 70.
Yeah, and also, I think part of the issue as well is the way the deal is structured. Because, you know, United like to pay things off in instalments, and it's like, you know, we'll give you some now and some in 2047. And Dortmund are like, no, we'll have the money now, and maybe some slight incentives where, you know, if he gets to 50 appearances or whatever, or if he helps you win a trophy, or whatever the fucking, you know. It's like Ahmad Diallo. Everyone says 37 million quid. We've not paid 37 million quid for him. And we might never do that.
No.
Anthony Martial, we've not paid 50 million for him. And we might never do that. It was 34, I think, with add-ons. And one of those add-ons for him was Ballon d'Or. So I was talking about this in the news this morning. It's unlikely we will pay 50 million quid for him. So where do you stand on this? A, do you think it's going to happen? And B, do you want United to just pay the extra money and just get it done?
I do think it's going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen last summer, up until about
Mate,
quarter
you
to
were
11 on transfer
the
deadline
most positive person I've ever met.
Well, because I just thought, it felt like we were roughly at this stage, like you said, minus the offer and minus that sort of huge, because there was a suggestion that United were willing to pay 90 and they wanted 120, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the difference between 65 and 80 is, it's, instead of being 30 million different, it's 15 million different, which is much more manageable and much more surmountable. But I did feel like we were kind of here for 6 months last summer. Between Christmas and summer, it kind of was like, well, this is going to happen. It's just, you know, might be the end of the window. And then all of a sudden the window shorts, the transfer window slams short, as another one of our, my favourite sort of saying there, slams short. The transfer window slammed short and we hadn't signed him. And it felt like, well, we're gonna, oh shit, we haven't. So as confident as I am, but I'm only as confident as I was last summer, and it didn't happen. We did transfer deadline day together, me, you and McCullough, and even at like 10 to 10, and especially when Jim White went, we've got an announcement from Manchester United, and you were like, I told you, and it was United have signed Facundo Palestra, which, not disrespect to the lad, I'm not saying that's a bad signing, but it's not Jadon Sancho. He's not played much, has he?
You know, you were pretty heartbroken, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
You know
so
what I mean?
how can we say how confident we are this time round? Because yes, it feels like it's going to. Yes, Sancho wants to come. Yes, Dortmund are willing to sell him. Yes, United want to buy him. But all of those things were true 12 months ago, and it didn't happen.
What you did, right, was you just threw logic out of the window. We spoke to more journalists on this fucking channel last summer than I've ever spoken to in my life. And that comes from, 10 years of doing press conferences, by the way, mate, right? They all started saying the same thing. It ain't happening. Journalists that you and I know are credible, Romano, Falk, Plettenberg, Berger, all over in Germany saying, it's gone, the deadline's gone, United haven't made a bid, it ain't fucking happening. And you were like, no, what do they know?
Deep down, did we consider those people to be liars? Yes. Deep down, was I wrong?
McCullough was the same.
Yes.
He was like, McCullough got angry at me when I said it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
He actually got this is what I'm on about. I'm like, what are you on about? It's like, this is what I mean, too negative. I'm sorry for being realistic.
Yeah, and we ended up with egg on our face. And I don't want to end up with a Sancho egg on my face again.
Oh, yes,
so
nice.
let's find out. But
Right.
I think it's going to happen. But then again, I thought it would happen last summer. It seems too close to not happen.
It's a lot closer this summer than it did last time.
Yeah.
Anthony Monipeo says, if the Sancho deal doesn't materialise, we should look to Pedro Neto as an alternative. Quite like him, but I'd prefer Jadon Sancho, sorry, because we're not doing Jadon Sanchez anymore. Harry Bell says, if you had 150 million quid,
right.
Well, he just says 150 mil, so he might mean euros. What 3 players would you buy?
If I had 150 million quid, I won't buy any fucking players. I buy house, island, plane.
Yeah.
Lasses. Nah, just the first 3. I'd buy a volcano once in space. That's what I'd buy. 150 millions? You know what I'd do? I'd buy Newcastle and sell it back to Mike Ashley for even cheaper. That's what I'd do.
That's
you want it back for free? There you go, fella.
Sorry, Harry, for this just nonsense that has ensued. I'd buy...
That was a joke.
Yes, that was it. What was it? House, car, lassies. I'd buy... What would I buy? I don't even know. I'd buy Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho because I'm boring.
Would you?
Yeah.
If I actually had 150 million, I'd get Varane, 60. That's what's been rumoured.
Yep.
Sancho, 80.
Oh, we said 3 players, sorry. And I get Danny Welbeck back. Go on.
Sancho, 60. No, Sancho, 80. Varane, 60. That's 140. I've got 10 million.
Yeah.
10 million.
You know what you could do?
What? Casino.
All on black.
All on red for me.
Red?
It's
Really?
United.
Put half on red and half on black.
That way you can't lose.
Unless it's green.
Yeah, but in that case, I didn't want to win. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we're not advising anyone who's got 150 million out there to go and put it all on
No,
black or
actually,
red.
if anyone here is watching, you've got 10 million quid.
Yeah. Me and Joe will
stick
come
it
round
on
your
red.
house and do this show live
Stick it on
in your
red.
bedroom.
Yeah, if you've got 150 million, put 10 million on red, live a bit.
Hey.
But if you've got any less than that, don't. It's not worth it.
Right. Someone else has said in terms of
Someone else? Just nice to get his name read out.
That's sorry.
Some other...
Some bloke.
Yeah.
Dancison 851. Going back to your transfer references.
Oh,
he
yes.
said slapped with a price tag.
Yeah,
I like that. It's sort of slapped.
Slapped a 70 million price tag on his head.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good one. Good shout there, my friend. This one seems strange, but we're going to talk about it anyway because it's being reported, and this is what we do. We report on what's being reported. Anthony Martial.
Yeah.
After his epic season of scoring 4 Premier League goals, including 2 against Southampton.
I detect some sarcasm, Jane. You'd be wise to stop it right now.
Right, before Anthony Martial FC jump on me.
Hey, let me stop
right?
you there.
What?
They don't exist
I know, I've heard this one from McCall, the most
fucked
ridiculous
up.
statement he's ever said ever.
They've gone.
Yeah.
And the Marshall FC don't
Started
exist.
throwing him under the bus already, haven't
Yeah,
you?
they scattered like
edging
turning on
their
lights
bet,
with
yeah.
cockroaches on the
Hey,
wall.
bloody hell. I actually like Andy Martial.
Yeah.
Anyone that scores against the Scouts on his debut gets my love for life. I still think there's a good player there. I think for me, he's got another season, but he's got to show up this season. We can't
If you
have
don't
another
get
season.
15 goals this season, I think
Yeah,
that's
we
it.
can't have another 4 Premier League goal season like we did last time. But he's been linked with Real Madrid. On loan as well, which is even more bizarre. As you can see there in the graphic, after a disappointing season for Martial, reports suggest that's a good one.
Reports suggest.
Reports suggest
Yeah.
that he's been
Report
off.
suggest would be a good name for a transfer podcast.
Reports suggest.
Yeah.
It's good. Write that down.
I'll get tattooed.
No, we bagsy that first in case anyone nicks it.
Yeah.
That he's been offered to Real Madrid on a season-long loan. But does this mean we are signing a striker?
Who's saying this? Where's this coming from?
Various reports.
Oh, various reports, eh? That's like the transfer equivalent of a 3-cheese pizza. You're like, what fucking cheeses are in this pizza? You wouldn't just go somewhere and be like, oh, how about you wear 4 different types of shoes? He's like, no, what are the shoes? What am I wearing? 3-cheese pizza. I've never trusted it. It always just felt like they were pulling the wool over my eyes, trying to give me some Gouda when I didn't want it. Anyway, various reports, aka 3-cheese pizza, has just suggested...
Sorry. I'm tracing these various reports back to one source.
Pull the cord.
And do you know what? And I'm going to back him because I actually like the guy.
Oh, no.
No one else does, really.
It's not that indie
I think he's one of the most...
guys,
No, he's one of the most hated people out there, but I like him. We've interviewed him. Yes.
It's not a... Right.
What?
You said he was one of the most hated people out there.
Do you think me, as a father of 3, is going to stand on this podcast or this show and go, I like Rolf Harris? People might not like him, but I'm going to stick up for him.
People might not like him. Right, so it's not him.
That's not a hill I am willing to die on.
All right, it's not him then.
No, yeah. Thank you, producer Cam, for bringing some normality back to this. It's nothing to do with Rolf Harris, and in no way am I comparing this journalist to Rolf Harris. Right. Let's just forget the Rolf Harris conversation ever happened.
Let's forget about it.
Right. This guy, who is disliked by a lot of people on social media because he's not very sort of kind towards Ole. He likes Jose Mourinho a lot.
Can you tell who it is yet?
Stop it. I know what you're doing there.
With
your little subtweet.
I'm just asking if they can tell who it is yet.
Hey, you tell me to tie your kangaroo down in a minute, you little weasel.
No, it's alright, it's come loose. It'd only come free. Go on, who is it? Nothing to do with the aforementioned, disgraced former kids musician and presenter.
There's been far too much Rolf Harris on this channel for one day. No, the journalist we're talking about is Duncan Castles.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't like him. I like Duncan Castles, I think he's all right.
Yeah.
We had him on the channel. Really good, engaging guy. We had him on the podcast. Spent about an hour with him chatting about what was then. I think it was just, Ollie's just come in. I think we're talking about Jose and what went wrong and Rui Faria. He's quite... Him and Jose had a pretty good relationship, Duncan Castles, and that's why I think a lot of people don't like him because he's very sort of, seems to be quite pro-Jose and isn't very pro-Ollie, to the point of writing headlines where I think when we beat City, it was like Manchester United beat under par City team thanks to referee decisions or something like that. You know, he sort of twists things where people go, God, he hates us. Yeah. But he says that Anthony Martial could be going to the Bernabeu, as they say in Spain, as on a loan deal.
I mean,
does this make sense?
Are we in option to buy territory here? Because that kind of makes sense. If they don't want to pay it up front, they want to see how he is first. But then if they don't, accept this option to buy, if there is one, then you've just got a 26-year-old Anthony Martial coming back who presumably hasn't had a very good season, otherwise they'd buy him. Then he's 1 year further down his contract. He's harder to sell in the future. We're getting him off our wage bill for a season, but otherwise, what do we get out of that? You don't loan out players who are worth 50, 60 million, which, Anthony Martial is surely somewhere in that bracket. You don't loan out players like that because you're literally just losing a year of a contract of a player that you might actually get something for. It would have to be an obligation to buy for me to feel there's any need for that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think there could be a sort of maybe a case that he goes there and rejuvenates his career a little bit in the same way that Jesse did at West Ham, going to a club where, and I'll probably get pelters for saying this, but going into the Liga, which it's not even, I don't think, as difficult as the Premier League.
No.
I don't, and people go, what are Jay, you talking shit?
Yeah.
What you're
the
about?
Bottom 10 teams in Liga aren't as good as the bottom 10 teams in the Premier League. They just aren't. No. Arsenal, for most of the season, was in the bottom 10.
Yeah.
And I know they're not a great team, but they're better than almost every team in the bottom 10 of La Liga. Yeah. Like, I know what was it, 8th they finished in the end? Like,
yeah. But no, you're right. And even like Atletico, Real Madrid and Barcelona, top 3 teams, when you look at what Atletico did against Chelsea, weren't really
just
in it.
Nullified completely.
Yeah, weren't really in it. Real Madrid, I think, was that Chelsea as well?
It was, wasn't it?
Did you play Real Madrid in the Champions League this season? Yes, you did.
Atletico and
exactly. I know Chelsea obviously beat City. So, but again, Barcelona, was it PSG, who, again, a good team on the day. But what I'm not just going about Champions League. But if you've seen La Liga, it isn't as the quality as it was. A lot of players there are a little bit past the best and things like that.
Teams like Villarreal, they're no good.
Yeah. Kind of done me there, aren't you?
Too far there.
But
I agree with you.
Even Villarreal, obviously did really well, won the Europa League against us, but they've got players that were in the Premier League like 4 or 5 years ago and were deemed surplus to requirements. So you think that someone like Anthony Martial, who, despite having a bad season, is still relatively young, 25 years old at the minute, had a bad season but has scored a lot of goals over the past 4 years, especially 2 seasons ago when he got 23, could go there under Ancelotti's back there as well, and maybe get himself going again. Remember like when Adebayor went there years ago? Well, Chicharito, he went there for a loan, didn't he? Scored a few goals and did really well. So maybe that could be just the move that gets him going. Because I always feel as well with Martial, I'm not saying he's disloyal or anything like he wants to move, but I don't think he's passionate about staying at Manchester United forever.
No.
I don't think he'd be like, I'm not leaving Old Trafford.
No.
I think he'd be up for that if it was made, made for time. I know he's got a young family, so he'd have to discuss it with them. But it could help him. It could make sense. The only thing I would say about that is, if he goes out on a loan, we need someone else coming in. We need another striker.
Yeah, we can't just have a regularly unfit Cavani and Mason Greenwood as our other two strikers.
And also Marcus Rashford isn't a striker.
No.
So if you're going to start playing him down the middle, that's not the Marcus Rashford that you want. So I don't know.
I wouldn't say though that I wouldn't rule that out as an option. I don't think that move is impossible.
Yeah.
I know that it's Duncan Castle's hit and miss with his stuff recently, especially post Jose. But I wouldn't say that seems preposterous to me that Anthony Martial would go to Real Madrid. That doesn't seem weird.
Divided quite a lot of opinion. United fans are very fickle these days, to be honest. Martial's days are numbered. Look what happened to Rooney. I don't know. I think that you look at the season Martial had, and I think you go back to the Etihad, the derby where he got man of the match and he missed a chance, but he played well. A lot of fans were backing him, saying he's back, and but then he got injured, which was obviously not his fault. So I don't think it was like a case of all the fans threw him under the bus. No. I think that it was a difficult season for him, and from a United fan point of view, at times it was hard to watch. Yeah. Because he was missing some really easy chances, and I felt it looked like he lost his confidence. Which is something, and that's painful for me to say. Yeah,
and he's never done that throughout his career. The one thing he's always had is he's a very clinical finisher.
And it really did. And some of those chances were sitters. Do you know what I mean?
The two against Leeds, where he's literally his classic opening his body up, pointing across the goalkeeper, and he's hitting it basically down the middle of the goal. That's just not him.
Even City, I know he got man of the match, so I'm not going to pick his performance, but that's the sort of chance that Andy Martial 2 seasons ago, he just bangs it in the back of the net, no drama. He literally did it against City when we last had full house at Old Trafford.
What's next, Jay?
Let's move on to the next one. Just a lot of people discussing La Liga, saying it's different, it's not necessarily worse. This one's already been dismissed.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll bring it up and we'll dispense with it immediately. We'll dispatch it almost instantly. Read it out and I'll just reply
Donny van de Beek has been linked with a move to Arsenal. Arsenal apparently show interest in Donny van de Beek. Did we make a mistake in signing him, says the graphic? He hasn't had much game time and seems to be out of favour with Ole. And now he's been linked with a move to Arsenal. Do you think that move to Arsenal's on the horizon?
I think fuck off.
That's literally what Romano's just tweeted. Yeah, I think fuck off.
Fabrizio Romano said that ain't happening. And we already knew it wasn't happening anyway. It was just funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's actually tweeted that about the same time as we went live as well.
Good.
Talking of live Romanos.
Oh, hello. Ooh, trailer
teaser. Who's the most reliable journalist out there? Obviously, it's Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
What would be the best thing for our viewers to be able to do?
I think if I was a viewer of Stretford Paddock, I would love to be able to watch Fabrizio Romano and ask him a question live.
Why don't we make that happen then? This Thursday, me and you, Romano, get him in here, get him on the Stretford Paddock live stream, 6 o'clock. We're going to have him for about half an hour. Get your questions in. We'll go live. We'll put your questions to Fabrizio Romano.
Yes.
Obviously, there is a limit. Subscribe and hit the notification bell on the subscribe as well.
Because you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, because you'll get a notification. Get involved, and we'll try and put your questions to Romano. I know a lot of them will be sort of about Jadon Sancho, but I'm sure there's lots of other players we've been linked with, and you can get the main man, the main transfer man himself, his opinion on it, and we'll put those questions to him on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast.
Now you've met him a few times, what you're going to go with is your opener. How you doing, hon?
How you doing?
How's it hanging, chick? That kind
chick,
of thing.
hun.
Babe. Doll. What are you going to say? How's it going, doll? Like some old-timey guy.
All right, Twinkle.
How's it, sweetheart?
Oh, darling.
That's going to be great, though, Thursday night.
It is. We spoke to Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
Obviously. A few times on the podcast. We've had him on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast a few times. And it's great to have him on. And, me and Ronaldo usually do it. And we have, obviously, love asking him questions. He's a great guy and he's so knowledgeable and all the rest of it. But it's like, afterwards, you get loads of people in the comments and saying like, oh, I should have asked him this, or I wish you'd have asked him that, or I would have liked to have asked him this. And a lot of the time, I'll look through them comments, if I'm being honest, and think, that's actually a good question.
Yeah.
Kind of
should have
let myself down that one.
Yeah.
Can we get him back? Oh, he's gone. So we'll get everyone involved, put your questions to him. Obviously, there's only a sort of limited amount of questions we can ask him, but this is your channel, so we'll get you involved in it and just fire over questions when we go live. Thursday, 6 o'clock. Subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can get involved in the interview with Fabrizio Romano.
Wow, that was nice, that. You turned into sort of a bloke selling old action men out the boot of his car.
What's your favourite, sort of market stall trader or seller type saying? Oh, there was that, yeah. Producer Cameron said £1 fish.
Yeah.
Have you got one? Like, who springs to mind that you've heard?
No, nothing that springs to mind. There used to be a guy at Chesterfield Market
Go
where I used to go college in Chesney.
Chesney.
But I'll be honest, in terms of repeating anything he said, I couldn't because it was completely illegible.
Was it just gobbledygook?
Did you then have had? Like, excuse me? You're like, that's not words. And you're not selling anything because people are scared of you and they don't know how much your plums are. And it's as simple as that. So, no, I don't have one, but that guy at Chelsea Market, just calm it down. What about you?
There was a guy that when I started selling United We Stand, we used to meet to collect the United We Stand fanzines. And there was a guy that used to stand there where we used to meet to collect him. And he used to say the same thing. ER, you lighters, 5 for the pound.
ER, you lighters. Let me translate that. Here you go. Lighters for your cigarettes. 5 of them only cost you £1. But he would say it.
ER, you lighters, 5 for the pound. And I always used to think, why are you saying ER?
Yeah.
Like, why not lighters 5 for the pound? No. Why ER?
Because he's got to attract you.
Yeah, someone go, I don't want them like, what? Well, yeah, half them.
Oh, yeah.
5 for the pound, yes. Now you've got me. Yeah, great guy, proper man. That's when I started copying his accent.
Did you?
Kiki Kikison says, my plums are priceless.
You say that, but when someone gives you a 50 grand check.
Says, Joe, you ever go to a club in Chesterfield with a boat in it?
Have I ever been to, oh my God, the Beach Bar in Chesterfield, and they used to play, let's go to the beach, let's get away. That Nicki Minaj song, 7 times a night. Because it said, let's go to the beach bar with a boat in it. Yes. Don't get your drinks packed in there, though, because it was rampant. Next.
Hey, what, your drinks marking was rampant?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to spike my own drink.
Did you?
Yeah.
For a laugh. Oh, I've been to be honest. Nothing. Everyone just left you alone.
So that's when you know your night's going well.
Yeah.
Right, Mata. Oh no, sorry, I've skipped one. David De Gea.
Quickly.
He's in the dark.
Oh, good.
No wonder he's not having the best 18 years.
No wonder he can't
month
fucking
spell.
save
I know, he's in the dark, bless
Lights
him.
have been turned off. Whatever, he's in the dark. Next story.
That's just an example of
just,
some of the laughs we have on this channel.
Yeah, that's why
See what we did there?
Yeah, that's why he can't save a penalty, because it's dark.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's happening with his contract. With Henderson becoming number 1, he may want to move on. Is this the right move for Manchester United? I'm absolutely just bored of debating this one.
I say, let's give it a wait and see, and let's move on, shall we? Okay,
then. That's like the sort of budget version of Here We Go.
Yeah.
Wait and see. Right, Juan Mata.
Yes. Now
Who's the greatest player in the Premier League? It's you, 1-1-1. It's you, 1-1. A 1-year deal. We spoke to Mike McGrath on the Tier 1 podcast last week. He was saying this. He was saying that Manchester United are keen to keep Juan Mata. This story's been covered by quite a lot of newspapers as well. It seems like he's going to have to take a pay cut if he wants to stay at United. I had it this morning in my news, and it looks like it's going to be... I mean, listen, he's not exactly going to be sort of selling his car to survive. He's going to go from potentially around 170k a week to 100k a week. Would you keep Juan Mata at the club?
I don't know exactly what he offers off the pitch, but by the sounds of things, he offers quite a lot. So maybe for that reason I would. In terms of his on-the-field presence, it's largely non-existent at this point, isn't it? So from that perspective, I don't quite understand it, but he seems to be a good guy. He seems to have, again, just being a nice bloke doesn't mean that you get to be paid 100 grand a week. But if you have some sort of role on the table, some offer on the table for sort of post-career employment, then I kind of understand keeping him around. But my other thought would be, what does he get out of this? Because surely he could go to Valencia or go to Villarreal or somewhere like that for 2 seasons, actually play some games, and then still come back to United in this role, and maybe actually play some football in the meantime. So I don't quite understand what Mata gets out of this. 100 grand a week is still a lot of money, no problems there. For me, it doesn't quite make sense because, what are we paying him 100 grand a week for? I get it, and you're a nice bloke, but what's going on?
I think we need to start being a little bit more ruthless with our squad.
Yeah.
I think that, I love Juan Mata, and I actually think in many ways he's a little bit underrated. I think he came into a United side that didn't suit his style at all when he brought him by Moyes, made it work. Mourinho came in as well, and Van Gaal obviously, but Mourinho especially when you thought the way we play just doesn't suit Mata. But he forced his way, he kept his way in that team with his performances. His goal scoring record was very good, his assist record was very good. He scored some very important goals to Manchester United along the way as well. Obviously, fantastic attitude, but I feel like now he wouldn't. I've always thought Juan Mata, I mean, when City won the league by, was it 100 with 100 points? I thought Mata could have played in that team.
Yeah.
I thought that style suited him, and he was that type of player there. You'd have put him in that team, he'd still won all them games.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he makes their bench at all. I don't think he makes any of the top 4 or 5 teams' benches. And I think what you're keeping around for, if we want to go for the Champions League, we want to go for a trophy. We haven't winning fucking trophies for, 4 years. We can't just have passengers. No. And I'd hate to see him become that. You know what I mean? And like you say, you know, he's a nice guy, but it's not fucking Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, we need someone who can perform, and great guy to have around. If he was part of the coaching staff, maybe. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I think he needs to move on, and we need to bring in, even if you bring him for a youngster, even if you're giving, you know, I don't know, one of the younger players, maybe it's, you know, Medjbury or someone like that, a chance. It makes more sense than Mata staying around to play, 8 games next season. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Edward Bamber in the Super Chat says, give them David De Gea 2 in a 2-for-1 sale. I think that was talking about the Martial rumours. Also, let's move on to Glazer.
Oh, yeah, we go.
He's fucking found his voice, and all of a sudden. Don't hear from him for 16 years, now you can't shut him up. He's been talking shite, some would say. He says, we're able to spend with the top clubs throughout Europe, whether it's wages or transfer fees. We've been able to keep our ticket prices low. We've not increased them in over 10 years. Fuck off, mate. Seriously, I don't care. And I'm a season ticket holder. Well, I am at the moment. That's debatable whether that's going to carry on. But, you know, the whole frozen ticket prices, that's great. When the rain's dripping on my head at Old Trafford, I appreciate the fact that I'm still paying the same price as I did in 2011. Fantastic. I mean, it's not rocket science. Just fucking put your money where your mouth is. Fix the stadium, sort the training complex out, back the women's team, and sort the transfers out as well. All of the above. And start being more transparent and meeting with the fans more often than once every 16 fucking years. That would be a start for me.
Yeah, and they talk about, now we've got the fans' voice involved. We're less likely to see the mistakes we saw with the Super League, because without the fans, these mistakes can happen. We love the game. I watch the game every week. I watch Man United every week. When we lose, I'm as unhappy as you lot. Well, all right then. So you watch Man United every week for 16 years. How is it that you got the culture of the football team that you support so wrong you were willing to sell it to a Super League in Europe? You get it so much, and yet you still need us to tell you, oh, excuse me, please can you not completely dismantle 150 years of football history so you can make a bit more money? Yeah, fair enough. That's an easy mistake to make, isn't it? It's not like he said, oh, you know, we accidentally put Carlsberg on the pumps at Old Trafford, and that's a Scouse beer, so people didn't like it. Like, that's a oops, what have we done?
What you like?
You tried to sell football. What do you mean? I like Man United as much as you lot, but I accidentally compromised the entire structure of English football as an accident. It just doesn't wash. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like it's written by him. It just feels like a lie that he's reading out for the sake of making the fans be a bit less pissed off.
Do you know what makes me laugh about this, right? 16 years. If I've got a 16-year-old, my son's 16, and I've been a shit father to him for 16 fucking years, that's it. It's done. I am a shit father. There's no going back from that. Well, I'll be nice to you now. I'll be nice till you're 18, till you move out. Do you know what I mean? You fucked it. There's no coming back from that. You are officially a shit dad, and you're not going to redeem yourself. This is what he is. He's just a shit owner. And it's not like after 16 you go, made a bit of a mistake those 16 years. You've made a fucking mistake because you didn't give a shit and you don't care, and there's no coming back from that. And it's been like a year or two where you're finding your feet and there's all this debt and all this other shit, and you're like, okay, we're going to try and make this work and whatever. Maybe. And that's a massive maybe, because I didn't really think they gave him a chance at all when he took over all that debt. But for 16 years to be utterly terrible owners and then try and redeem yourself at the end of it, no, mate, the chance is gone.
And for some reason, when it comes to businesses and when it comes to people in positions of power, like Ed Woodward is an example of that, or, you know, Matt Judge or these sorts of people, for some reason, our expectations of their qualities and of their morality is just frozen from the day they started till now. It's like we just expect them to be the same person, or in this instance, he's just the same person, when really, he's had 16 years to learn.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It should be getting incrementally better. Matt Judge should be getting incrementally better. Ed Woodward should be getting better, because you learn things as a human being. In 16 years, it was this, exactly the same, then it went way worse with Super League, now it's slightly above where it was. That's the trend. The trend isn't this.
No.
The trend isn't, oh, we get this, oh, we think this is a good idea, oh, here's how we're going to be first in class in this. Like, even like, from,
Well,
you know,
no, it was weird because you remember, sorry to interrupt you,
no,
mate,
of course.
but you know, like 2010, the reason we had the green and gold, because in 2005, when they took over, you had the formation of FC United Manchester, the Phoenix Club, you had people protesting, obviously, you know, outside Old Trafford, the flash mobs and all that sort of stuff, and it was like, we're not having this. Then, for a few years, it calmed down a little bit. Then you had the bond issue, didn't you, where they tried to make a load of money and money again. And then you had green and gold, where it was like, hang on a minute, you're taking a fucking piss again.
That's true.
5 years in, you've gone like that, and then like that again. Yeah. So then there was all that outrage and everything, and then it sort of petered out a bit, didn't it? And then, like you say, you went along on a fucking, like, there's odd little things where you back Van Gaal a little bit, or you back, and then people go, okay, maybe. But all the time, Old Trafford's fucking falling to bits. You know, the women's club is nothing. Women's team is nothing more than a fucking lip service.
Even just as simple as you're taking the club in a direction that it's never been in, with managers like Van Gaal and like Jose Mourinho,
and no fucking strategy. By the way,
that's just bad thinking, ill thought out rubbish that you now expected. Oh well, he's learned 1% in 16 years, or the family has learned 1% of what United are about in 16 years. All of a sudden, it's, you know, champagne and pats on the back. It's not going to work. And it's obvious that that's not the case because, like I said, when you want to learn about something, when you want to get better at something, you can get a hell of a lot better at most things in 16 years, and they haven't. So you know they're not trying to, because if they were, it would have been far better than it is now, or than it was 3 months ago when they tried to sell everything off.
Aquila Rosa says, Glazers tried to take us into the European Super League. Apology not accepted. They crossed the line and must go. Never give up getting them gone. A sentiment that many, many people share. And I personally think if the Glazers really want to do the right thing, they should sell up and fucking do one. Another sort of quote here from Joel Glazer says, it's, meaning the debt and dividend payments, has never stood in the way of us pursuing players or transfers on the pitch. We may have walked away from transfers at times because the other side wanted an outlandish number. When he says outlandish number, he means like just a normal transfer fee, and they weren't willing to pay it. That's probably what that means. I'm going to wrap it up there. Just make sure I've not missed any super chats.
What I will say is,
go on, bro. I
do, again, everything we've just said still stands. I do prefer to hear from them occasionally than not. I do prefer that this happens, but it isn't in any way making up for what's happened before. But it is a slightly better way of operating than we have seen.
And I won't have a dig. I know some of the people involved, but, you know, I'm in a position where I could criticise them if I wanted to. It's not like I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
I know some of the people involved in Moss. I know some people involved in TRA who I've met with the Glazers as part of the fans forum. Trust me on this one, right? They are as diehard United fans as anyone. And as me, as you, as anyone I know. And these people involved in that want what is best for Manchester United. They're not fucking getting treated like, you know, oh, we're special, so we're going to just bow down to Glazers. They fucking want what is best for Manchester United, and they're trying to make it happen with dialogue. So I respect that. Because I see people going, there's fucking fans forum, and I think, I know these people, I know what they're about, I know the diehard United fans that want the best for Manchester United Football Club. So I've not got a problem with them meeting with the Glazers. I get it. Just like I ain't got a problem with the people that storm the training ground. I ain't got a problem with the people that fucking end up on the pitch at Old Trafford. Whatever you feel you need to do for the benefit of Manchester United Football Club because you love it, then I'm all about that. Because the Glazers don't. It's just a business and they're fucking wrecking it. Right. On that sombre note, should we leave it there, my friend?
Yes.
What have we got coming up other than the Fabrizio Romano interview at Thursday at 6 o'clock?
We will have the news tomorrow morning, as we do every single morning. We'll also have a news show coming, a transfer report, where I'm going to be looking in a little bit more detail, some of the stats, some of the sort of, background behind some of these transfers, and taking us through the latest of who United are linked with. A little bit more detail. Yeah.
What's it called? Transfer report?
Transfer report.
Not minority report?
Not minority report, no.
Could we call it that if certain people do it?
It's up to you. I'll let you take the lead on that one. And I'm just going to step to one side on that.
Nicely done.
Both literally and morally. Well, that's coming up tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Then we've got the watch-along of, I believe it's France versus Germany in the Euros. The first proper big chunky game.
The recreation of the 1982 World Cup semi-final.
Yeah. France versus Germany. I mean, I bet France will probably put on German kits at half-time.
Really? Is that the sort of humour we're going for?
No.
The war?
No.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Hey, why didn't you say maybe France will get slapped like Macron did the other day?
How dare you?
Right, okay, I'm sorry.
But yes, we'll have a watch on for that. And then we'll have Transfers Live tomorrow night as well after that. So make sure you stick. I mean, there's just fucking loads of stuff coming out. Just stick around. And again, if you want to be here for the Fabrizio Romano live chat, so you can actually just send questions into him, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, so you know when we go live, so you don't miss it. Because the last thing you want is to tune in 38 minutes into the video and we're just saying bye-bye to Fabrizio. And you've missed your chance to ask him a question, so make sure you check that out.
Make sure you check that out. That's been Joe Smith. Where can people find you, Joe?
Joe Smith 93 on Instagram and Twitter.
On the Twitter. I tweeted him about that. You know where to find me, Jay Motti. Make sure, as Joe said, you're hitting like, share and subscribe. This has been Stretford Paddock Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.